Fasby, baby.
That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
Yeah. Free little flair, yeah. No. I hear you. Huh. Yeah. I heard that you hang with the ops. 30s and 50s and 100s, you know that they come with the Glock. And you know that I been with the block. And you hang with the others, I hang with my brothers. And you know we don't hang with no suckers. And you know I came off with the scutters. And I got the junkie cooking butters. You nigga try talk, I ain't hearing no ruckus. I had to go shoot at the fool. Asking me, nigga, we ain't going to school. Telling them rock. Had to go turn up the Glock. The flag keep calling me back to back jail calls. Nigga, you know I ain't fail, y'all. Yeah, you talk about C3, you act like you know I'm still from the deal, y'all. Doing the V's. I was just up on the ground, I'm thinking about me, he throwing me keys. But they want me to rap. How the fuck I'm the meal ticket, but you want a nigga go clap? Old head say you ain't feeling this shit, nigga go trap. But what it did, nigga, I'm putting that fat nigga right on the scale. Cracking the flesh. In the junkie, he say I'm the best. If we catching the best, we go west. Clap a nigga in his head, nigga, he ain't catching the tip. Had to know that the nigga was ready. Had to know that the nigga was steady. Selling the jawbreakers, coming right back to back, nigga, you calling me Eddie. What would you do for your slime? What would you do with the ass? Is you gon' shoot at that bitch? I got a nigga that doing this shit. And it's letting me down. No coming in and it's getting around. You try to stand up, we sitting them down. Whole bunch of stickies, whole bunch of glizzies, whole bunch of young niggas trying to get busy. Still coming around to your city. For you niggas think that you was. I had to call the blitz in a rush. I was in paddy wagon in the cuffs. It's a little different, niggas selling dust. Putting that shit nigga right on my back. Everybody coming outside and they strapped. It's not a movie. I got the bitch and she come to the hood and she snapping. I think her name's Susie. My nigga shooting the Uzi. Nigga, we keeping the doolies. It's not a movie. It's not a movie. It's not a movie. Hold on. It's not a movie. I got the white bitch, she come to the hood and she stepping. I think her name's Susie. My nigga shooting the toolies. My nigga shooting the toolies. My nigga shooting the.
That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
I got the white bitch,
This ice on me don't melt, yeah. Real water might float, yeah. Y'all nigga funny my lips, yeah. Bitch, I ball like Steph, yeah. Oh, I'm sick, need medicine. 4-1 blow for the CEO. Fasil birds, I'm president. On the internet, he don't want no smoke. They talk shit that's evidence. Also, I get a text, yeah. You walk in my shoes, yeah. You couldn't see where I slept, yeah. Sorry if I'm being rude, yeah. But I been knew I was next, yeah. You wanna have no food, yeah. I knew I'd keep that check, yeah. Everywhere I go, I bring no blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring no blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring no blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring my blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring my blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring my blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring my blood with me. Yeah. Keep some sauce on the side. Diamonds hit like a rainbow. Diamonds hit like pride. Run it up, you same boat. Get money on stride. Run my wave like a speedboat. Niggas still switch sides. Yeah, I'll never switch to my guy. Keep some sauce on the side. Diamonds hit like a rainbow. Diamonds hit like pride. Run it up, you same boat. Get money on stride. Run my wave like a speedboat. Niggas still switch sides. Yeah, I'll never switch to my guys. I stay 10 toes. 2 feet, can't walk a mile in my 2-3. Got big guac, got huge cheese. I rock Prada, rock Gucci. Even Steven got Louis. When we pull up, got a roll for chicks. Money on me like I'm driving with Brinks. We in the Bronx, got caught me so weak. My cousin say he need me to front him a P. I told him key hustle is nothing to me. Nigga too grown to fucking fold. Nigga too grown to fuck with a troll. Nigga too on to fuck with a stove. Nigga got on is in control. I want a throne, I want it like hold. Everywhere I go, I bring no blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring no blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring no blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring my blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring my blood with me. Everywhere I go, I bring my blood with me. Girl, I rock the boat, it's obvious. Girl, I'm on top of that low. Shorty was popping the pills in the tongue, she told you. Now I'm looking for her, you know it's tired, yeah. Even after the thing, girl, I went through the tide for you. Looking inside of you, shorty hit me with a side of her. She said the pieces inside of you. She said my words don't keep hurting. Say my name. Say my name. Dirty eyes, evil manner. Shorty need a fix, ain't got that spanner. Fuck your piss and hold your bladder. Little ass bitch with a wine like Gaga. Keep holding me back. You're holding me back. Okay, release me. You're holding me back. You're holding me back. Yeah.
I've been hurt before, I got the scars to prove it. I just pour the pain into the music, go to war. In my head, gotta win the battle, I can never lose it. Been to hell and back for her, I'm psycho. I'm a stand, but I refuse to die though. Too late to fix the madness, now I'm on the night boat to Cairo. I'm with 100 G's, blowing trees in summer breeze. My niggas love the grease, two straps on them like some dungarees. Be easy, he's all in the strap. Oh, look at my phone, she's calling me back.
She said, release me. Keep holding me back. You're holding me back. Okay, release me. You're holding me back. You're holding me back. Yeah.
That is really super. How to knit with like you get so tasteful.
Early. Yo, girl, ran with me. Told you she was running errands. Hit it out of park like Gang Aaron. Walked in the dime, everybody staring at me. Like they ain't bumping my shit. Like they ain't fucking on bitches I been. Them niggas ain't that rich. Them niggas need another head, I get it. None of my bitches let go. None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. Yeah. All of my niggas getting down. None of my bitches let go. None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. All of my niggas getting down.
I'm nauseous, I lost it. She topless, be cautious. Just try me a brand new substance. I'm wildin' out in public. She riding, I'm thuggin'. On God, I just gotta keep hustling. She married, I'm fucking. She don't give a fuck about her husband. Can't make this shit up. I'm slizzard, I got the hiccups. I'm pissed drunk, don't take my picture. Got symptoms of blurry vision. The OG cushion my system. Please don't you pass me no swisher. Throwing up all my liquor, catch second wins, I'm that nigga. Black girl at the backyard party. White line, she about to get gnarly. Red flag, she a Hollywood actress. Pink lipstick all on my mattress. Blue strips all up in my pocket. Green kush, that's just how I like it. More gold than Jerome, wrong. Me and Kent like Tommy and Cole.
None of my bitches let go.
Yeah.
None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. All of my niggas getting down. None of my bitches let go. None of my bitches let go. All of my niggas getting down. All of my niggas getting down.
This pretty ting, nice to meet you, mucho gusto. Sweeter than a churro, she call me Papi Chulo.
Early.
Yeah, I'm single, baby girl, but how about you though? Tryna make you my number one, tryna make you my numero uno. Sweet, 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 sweet. She's sexy. I'm in love with her brain, man, she's stuck on my mind. She only speaks when she has an epiphany. Kind of girl you wanna fuck all the time, ride me like I'm genuine. I suck on her nipple, she's sucking on mine. She told me hit it from behind, I stroke it, I pull out, I come on her spine. I think that I found me a keeper. Por favor, mamacita, let's do it like Mickey and Mallory. Get you some ice to go with your tequila. I just bought a Rolex, broke it in half, cause this one's a creeper. We're sipping liquor by the liter, pussy so good it put me in a sleeper.
When I look left in the morning, there's a bitch who's trying to stay. Who are you? Did we smash or not, man? I don't recognize her face. Who are you? I don't need your talking or your weed, you're trying to blaze. No. Me and Skep linked up and now we're dancing in the rain. Sweet, sweet, sweet,
Summertime, it's summertime. Best believe a nigga feeling fine. Yeah, you know I gotta ride out. Yeah, you know nigga got vibe out. I'm conscious of the moment that I'm living in. Call that shit the fucking presence. And best believe I came with presence. And time is important to me, treat it delicate. Teach you etiquette. I was focused on becoming better nigga than I ever been. And I did that. Fucking setback. I'ma sit back. Counting bread on the MetaTrader. I'm counting up bread on the Binance. You ain't finna interfere with my plans. We breaking bread over China glass. We drinking Hennessy and fine wine. We working harder and we playing harder. We working smarter and we playing smarter. Monopolizing like I'm Nookie Thompson. Or better yet, my nigga Sean Carter. Real life example. Before I sold it to you, gave you samples. Here's a pamphlet. In case you went decisive and you really can't give me an answer. Seen your call, I ain't answer. I'm a 1% politicking with the 5%. About the 1%. Do you read the dots I connect? Do you see the way the stars align? You got something to say that don't be in the wreck. She keep talking about retrograde, don't you undermine? Horoscope says you gon' give me that neck.
We bossy, baby.
That is really super. How to nitwit like you get so tasteful.
Early.
Positive vibrations, good
Early.
times, good away, you know. Love. She has a problem communicating what she means. Bad bitch, she on her knees. Bad bitch, the replies, her time ain't free. I don't even blame her. Yeah, I know how it be. See, no stress, girl, when she link me. She go on like free. Don't post on Insta. Side things too inner. I might have to address it. Why? Assumptions might kill her. Why you talking about men, my trash? Take time off Twitter. I was sitting from the back. She want me to film it, nothing like Triller. Set up just like a director. Tommy Leo was a pussy mechanic, but I just turned pussy inspector. You know I wanna see a little more, a little bit, but I don't wanna be too extra. So the guy never gave it this feeling. I must be an inventor. Member, Jones in a blender, tender, venture, right in the center, enter.
It's your birthday, ho. It's your birthday, bitch. It's your birthday, ho.
I don't wanna leave her cause she's
wicked.
We in the dance and everything.
Wicked.
Why?
Don't be anointed.
It's your birthday, ho. It's your birthday, bitch. It's your birthday, ho.
I don't wanna leave her cause she's
Wicked.
We in the dance and everything.
Wicked.
Why?
Wicked. CRB farbboard, this train us, bro. If you ever cop to take it. Sexy pics on her Insta, send her DM like, hey, big head. KMT, her brethren, smoky too. But I ain't tryna be a dickhead. But I ain't tryna go on like she don't look wicked. True say, I ain't tryna be mad shallow. I don't even know if the thing grips yet. True say, I don't even see them in person, but she already know how the thing set. Better slow down if you want respect. Call her big mama, but I ain't biscuit. Put it all on the line, then I might risk it. Wicked.
It's your birthday, so you're sitting pretty. Your body set good when you give it to me. Wanna diet, get thin and skinny. But I like her, she my biggie. Biggie, she heavy. True say her best friend Ben and Jerry. True say it's blessed cause we get the belly. Girl, you know it's first class, not secondary. Been a whole week, can you check in for me? A piece of my love with this pepperoni. Need on the water, she bend it for me. Pull a front row to the ceremony. You send it for me, be it's cash on demand. Racks in my hand in a fat rubber band. I'ma have to holler your back when I land. Luggage this lifestyle, I might catch a tan.
I'm high.
See money, get that far. Yeah. See money, get that far. See money, get that far. Hey. Ain't no cap that's fast.
I broke a life down to its knees. Now I'm the king. I never miss. Shawty got all my songs on her playlist. I call it heaven, me spell like I slap you a kiss. Hitman.
That is crazy. Wait, was that actually the look, bro?
No, it's not a good feeling. It'll probably be the verse.
Hold on, let me answer this.
Boss B, baby.
That is really super. How to knit with like you.
Early.
Oh,
Yo, what it
early.
do? It's another episode of Early, man.
64 to be exact,
Number
man.
64. Shout out to that.
Shit flying.
Nigga, my hood down. You know what I'm saying? How you doing this morning, bro?
I'm good, man. Another Friday. The weather's warming up. I got no complaints out here. You know what I'm saying? Feeling blessed. Yeah, ready to conquer this weekend, man.
Yeah, facts. I feel that.
What about yourself? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. You know what I'm saying? It's another great day. You know what I'm saying? A pretty productive week, I think I would say, for myself. You know what I'm saying? So
that's good. That's good.
So it's lit, and I feel like it's going to be a good Friday as well. So
that's
good day. You know what I'm saying?
dope,
We got
man.
Dark Matter tapping in. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
In
What
a
we
little
gonna be
bit.
going over with him?
A real interesting dude, bro. I met him a couple weeks ago at our No Bay Left Behind event.
Okay.
Comedian, musician, you know what I'm saying? Author, you know what I'm saying? He wrote a book. We're gonna get into all that type of shit in a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? Of course, we always start off with what happened in the sports world.
For sure.
Eventful ass week, bro. Eventful ass week as far as this free agency goes in the NFL.
Well, what was the thing that stuck out to you the most that you was like, whoa?
Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill getting traded to the Dolphins.
Okay, mine was definitely Deshaun, but let's get into.
Oh, hey, you asked me mine. I'm asking yours. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think they gave a haul. They gave a haul up for Hill. You know, that was a lot.
What did they give up? Do you remember?
5 picks. 5 picks. I think it was a first round, second round, 2/3, and I can't recall something along that gist.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's so crazy how time flies. Time really flies in this life that we live in, people. Because I'm looking at this, I'm like, damn, Tyreek Hill, 6-time Pro Bowler. Like, where did the years go? I'm like, damn, you really been in this shit for a minute. So I'm like, you know, I guess, you know, how the market's changing and things like that, it kind of does dictate that he got the bread he got, you know. So that's good. I'm never gonna knock niggas getting their money. So that's good for them. Now it's just putting that shit up on Tua. You know, it's really it's like, you know, make or break type of year for him. So we'll see what's up. But it's also, you know, you got a new coach. If the Flores is there, I probably feel way more confident in what they got going on. So now I still kind of feel like, it's still a little treadmill thing. Like, we'll see if y'all actually break through. But their cast is fast as fuck.
Yeah,
they're fast as shit.
Yeah, they got now they got
Waddell.
him, Jalen Waddle. You know what I'm saying? Mike Gesicki at tight end.
Yeah,
you
run
know
a 4.5. His name, so yeah. You run a 4.5.
Yeah.
Run a 4.5.
That's great. I mean, I know he's a tough tight end, but I didn't necessarily know what his skill set was.
Yeah, the 2 backs in the back running the 4.5 and the 4.3.
Yeah.
So it's like, they
and Tyreek Hill, arguably, you know, one of the fastest players in the league. I mean, I still got memories of that fucking touchdown catch he had against the Bills
through the middle. But through the middle though, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
You know, nobody catches
that. Doesn't happen.
But the Deshaun joint, that shit.
Yeah. Let's get into that.
That was definitely the big
free
highlight.
Deshaun.
Yeah, because I didn't necessarily see him even fall into the Cavaliers. I said
Cavaliers.
I didn't see him going to the Browns. I definitely thought he would probably fuck around with
Atlanta.
Thought Atlanta would make the play. I thought they'd be on it. They ended up with Mariota. You know, it's weird because I know there was definitely good riddance with Matt Ryan. Even though, to be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie, as somebody that's giving that nigga a lot of slack, I also gotta, you know what I'm saying? The proof is in the pudding. Nigga has had a very solid past 10 years. It's just that after that bowl, it's kind of like we seeing a regression.
He's become a meme in a sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like look, you kind of expect he's gonna choke or he's gonna fall off.
One play go his way. You know what I'm saying? Exactly how they celebrating Stafford now. That's Ryan. You see how it just shifted. And it's funny, it's ironic because those are like best friends and shit like that. So it's
Stafford
funny how
and Ryan?
Yeah, they grew up together.
Matt.
Like, before even
I didn't even know that.
Before the league shit.
Didn't even know that. But that's an amazing comparison because it's kind of the same thing. Like, Matt Stafford has always put up great numbers, but had mediocre success as far as like playoff runs and anything like that. Sure. But we always gave him a pass because he was on it. Like, we know, bro, like, you're not gonna do anything in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter who, like, they had Calvin Johnson, they had Barry Sanders, they've had some of the greatest players ever. And they are just a historically bad team. So it's like everybody kind of always gave Matt Stafford the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. Matt Ryan, it's been the exact opposite. Like he's had a lot of success, but he's also been on good teams. He's been on teams that should have done things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the closest that he got, he choked. Or I'm not gonna say that he choked. Like the team had a meltdown, and then he's kind of been on the short end of the stick of
the
that.
big knockdown was more so it's like, yo, you've been in the league a number of years. You got to know when it's like, yo, run your playbook. Fuck with be like, it's like, well, because it's kind of like it's the easiest cop out. Oh, I was just running the play. Like, bro, fuck the play, bro. See the feet. Like, stop running it. Stop running the.
To me, I
like,
get what you're saying because they took the foot off the gas.
In that instance, it's like, yo, bro, you playing it wrong. I don't know if you listening to the coach, but like, you know what to do. Burn this clock out. Period.
So what were they doing? Were they not? Because I remember that game being like Tom Brady turned up.
They should have.
Matt Ryan isn't playing on defense, so it's like I know they didn't score any more points, but like, was it because I thought it was because they were running the ball?
Those offensive drives were literally
they were quick.
They were just
yeah.
And I was like, no. They should have.
They
should have ran. They should have ran that whole time. Milk.
It's
25-3. Like, don't let them get back. That's it. And all you have to do is play consistent. But we don't even got to harp too much on that.
Yeah,
at the time, it was Freeman.
But
yeah. So Deshaun Watson, I think, to be honest, we'll see how it goes because that's just still got to settle in like the civil courts. But I think that nigga, I think the Browns have a Super Bowl caliber team. They do. It's just,
really,
yeah, they do. It's just like, the Baker's just like, nope, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He's not going to do it. But I'm looking at Myles Garrett heading that fucking defense, man. And that boy. That boy's gonna be a problem for the next 10.
Myles Garrett.
The next 10 is gonna be a fucking menace in the league.
Yeah.
And I think on the offense, I think they got weapons too.
They got Jarvis Landry over there.
Yeah,
they got Njoku, the tight end. They got, of course, they got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the backfield.
So I think Deshaun got exactly because Deshaun was being a magic man with nothing.
Yeah.
With no line. Not last time we saw him play in Houston.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is.
But the last time he was in Houston, the last time we saw him play, he had D-Hop there, right?
Yeah, D-Hop.
Okay.
Yeah, so it ain't like he ain't wanting for nothing. You got some shits around you still, so you good. So we'll see how that goes out. Then you got the Matt Ryan, the Colts.
Matt Ryan, the Colts. You know what I'm saying? Mariota, like you
I don't
said.
think that's a bad situation at all.
I don't think that's bad for Matt Ryan.
I think that's actually the best situation the Colts have had in the last 3 years, even though it's not ideal. Even though I don't think the situation they had in the last 3 years was what they would have chose.
Yeah,
it's better than Phillip Rivers, and it's better than Carson Wentz. And your team is still fucking top 10 at every position, like defense, special teams, offense.
Yeah,
like somebody needs to take this team somewhere, and you have the best running back in the league. So what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Crazy.
We'll see what's up.
That's crazy that you said that they had the best running back in the league. Because in my head,
you've been saying that too. I've been like, Jonathan Taylor, right?
Yeah,
That's his name?
Like Jonathan Taylor. But you know what's funny? As you said that, I was like, who is he talking about? Because in my head, I'm trying to think what happened in Tennessee. I know Tennessee made a move, but I can't think of what it was, right? Mm-hmm. And when you were saying that, I'm in my head thinking Tennessee. So when you said the best running back in the league, Derrick Henry's over there. Tennessee, Eddie coming back next year.
I'm more so. It's kind of like the Cooper Kupp conversation, right? Like if I say
best, the best season
I don't
last
think Cooper Kupp is the best receiver. I think he's top 3.
Yeah, but he had the best season for running backs last year.
Exactly,
yeah, for sure. So I
so we'll see what's up with that.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I think this has been an eventful NFL offseason. One of the most eventful ones as far as like trades and moves and all these types of things. Like I think we touched on Devontae Adams last week because that happened last week, right?
We did a couple weeks
ago.
So
it's been an eventful offseason. You know what I'm saying? We'll see where things continue to go and how teams look when it starts. But
gonna get to these series.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take a quick little, you know what I'm saying, little video sting, and then we'll be right back and talk about fucking Bel Air. We're gonna talk about Bel Air because that show's very interesting.
And Snowfall's good, man.
Early.
Talking Peacock platform.
Yeah. So
you've been watching Bel Air, right?
I'm super late to the party. But I've arrived.
I don't think it's super late.
I've arrived.
Season 1, episode 1, day premiere. But you're right there.
No, I wasn't.
I
wasn't there. I wasn't.
You right there with it.
I don't know. Is the season over?
We're right there with it. I think it's just ended
because it's like It's 9 episodes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we fall into the category. I was just waiting for the whole thing.
I wanted to binge it.
That's all.
That's exactly what I did.
So y'all was 2 months early.
I binged it over the last couple days, bro. And after like, you know, a lot of people have been talking about it. It's not like a under the radar. Of course, it's not under the radar. But I was just hesitant to start for no particular
and what
reason.
show again are we talking about?
We're talking about Bel Air.
Cool.
Yeah, Bel Air. And we had talked about how, you know, we're not into the idea of spinoffs or these like reboots and shit like that.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them have been kind of corny or whatever. I think if you're gonna bring back a show, this is the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what is it about,
bro?
What is it about this? Not a reenactment, if you will, but like just like a whole new setup of this, you know, this Bel Air. What is it about it that's different and got you hooked onto this show?
Yeah, great question. So it's what you called it is right. It's not like it's like a re-imaging of a story that we're already familiar with, right? So with the original sitcom, it's like service level, you know what I'm saying? It's a sitcom, you know what I'm saying? Like it's meant to make you laugh, feel good, kind of escape, you know what I'm saying? Get lost in the comedy, get lost in, you know, Will Smith's character's charm and all that type of shit. Like it's very lighthearted. It's completely different from what they've done now. So what they've done now is take the stories, or like they've taken certain character traits from those original characters and built stories around them, which I think is like super interesting, bro. It's like turning, you know what I'm saying, it's like turning a regular sitcom into, you know, a drama. You know what I mean?
Right. And do you feel that they had to do that because in this day and age, you really have to display cultural relevance to have people like, I guess, latch on and grow with the show? Like, do you think that if they kept the spirit of what the show was previously and just try to make a nice, funny, feel good type of sitcom, do you think it would latch on how it is right now? Or do you feel that this new story is kind of even bringing new people into this Bel Air universe and they're like, yo, this is real shit.
100%.
This is how it sometimes be going, and you know, type shit.
Definitely, you know? The latter. Like I feel like if they I don't even think that's what they were trying to do from jump. Like I think that they were always trying to do like a reimagining of this same story.
It's apparent,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And I think that, to be honest, like I think your question was like, would it be as good if it was, you know, just like kind of like a pickup?
Right.
You know, no, I don't think so. No, hell no. Like the show is different. You know what I'm saying? Like Bel Air is different. You know what I'm saying? Really the only things that are the same are the people's names. You know what I mean? Are the characters, and of course, like there's like just little story, like little things that if you watch the sitcom, then you kind of see like why this character is doing that. So like if you watched like Carlton's drug problem, like that was kind of like hinted at, or it was hinted that a nigga like Carlton could have a drug problem because of the pressures that his character is under in his head. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm sure people who watched The Fresh Prince remember that episode when he was trying to be prom king or something.
Yeah, yo, do you
understand? Speed.
Hey, so that's so funny. So one of the, because again, I haven't watched the season full, but I've watched like random parts of
you've seen enough
so
of it
I
to
got
know what's going on.
And one of them happened to be a fucking, it was like on a Twitter timeline. I seen like a 15-second clip of this nigga Carlton in the new Bel Air sniffing lines of coke, and I was like, hey yo, what the fuck? I said, Carlton, what's going on? I was geeking with my man so much so I said, bruh, run back that old joint when my nigga Carlton was off the speed trying to be the prom kid. Hey yo, and I was like, bro, how'd he do that? He wasn't. I was like, I don't think he was trying to conform or nothing like that. I was like, nah, the nigga was trying to get some Tic Tacs. And nigga was trying to make sure his breath was. I think he was trying to make sure that shit was right.
Oh no,
nigga
facts.
went to Will's
locker
and took them shits. I was like,
because Will had him. That's actually a big fact. Yeah,
because the cuz was like, yo, bro, trying to chill out. And Will was good off that shit. But when he got that turned, I was geeking. So I was like, to your point, I was like, yeah, they definitely gave niggas whole different biographies in this joint. Like, same person. Yeah. But they not the same person.
But you know what's funny?
Jeffrey's a motherfucking property manager. You gotta put it with the quotes. Jeffrey the muscle now.
But you know, but it's
handle shit.
Again, it's a re-imaging of or reimagining. I don't even know.
No.
Right. But it's a reimagining of you know, the same dynamics.
Yeah,
it's not like he's a butler, but in 2022, like how many people have black butlers? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no,
so
exactly. I wasn't trying to see that shit.
Yeah,
Facts.
100%.
I asked him. I said, is he a butler?
Yeah.
And because he was I was like, don't tell me this nigga butler. He's like, nah, he a property. I said, oh yeah, I like that.
They got a compound.
That's cool,
you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna need something like that.
But like when I think about this shit, and I haven't even probably watched one full episode. This shit's cool. I actually now, like when I sit back and I'm actually looking at it, I'm like, now this is something that I might just very well delve into because y'all made it a different story. Me, myself, look, I appreciate nostalgia, but I appreciate nostalgia of the actual thing that gives me nostalgia. I don't need to have new memories or these new experiences to make me harp on.
They're trying to bring up the old
pressing
memories.
that button. I'm
they're
like,
trying
no,
to bring up the old
but this is not that. This is not that. So when you give it a whole new life, the way that they're doing it right now, I'm like, you know what? This is whole new context. We getting whole new storylines. One thing about sitcom type of shows, even back in like the 90s or whatnot, you're not getting past the surface level of what you know the character to be. Whatever their main attributes, the adjectives, that's what they are. And then that's it. And then you might have the one show or two where we get a little deeper. Oh, something's going on in this episode. But now with this joint,
one episode out of the whole season.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no continuance.
And there's no continuance.
This is just a new episode. But with this type of show, kind of falls into the mold of, you know, a lot of these series that we always like to talk about how we felt about. It's kind of like, oh, it's a whole new, whole new universe, like, a whole new world. And the one thing that they got going on, which in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which you never had, every character that they're showing to you on screen has their own little story, what they're trying to conquer, accomplish, their pros, their cons. So the show can always interweave them. You're never stuck with
the
one.
Sitcom
you think
always,
it's Will's show,
the
but
sitcom
it's not
was
really a show. It's
not
everybody's thing.
And that's interesting because that's why it's like called Bel-Air as opposed to just like, you know, about the Fresh Prince or about Will Smith. Because like to your point, to your point in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they used to like, you would only really know people's stories in the context of how it dealt with Will's life, you know what I'm saying, or with Will's story for that day or for that episode. So I think that's interesting. And I also feel like okay, so if we talk about some of the storylines like that are, I guess,
Carlton being a drug addict is hilarious.
I think it's
hilarious,
I think it's
dog.
I don't even think it's that hilarious. I think it's more, I think it's
Real
it
life,
makes
bro,
sense.
it be like this.
It makes sense.
No,
like
hey.
the nigga feels like he's under a lot of pressure, and you know, in those kind of situations where you're privileged and you are feeling like you're under pressure, like that's how that's literally how every drug person that lives in the valley, that's how it comes about.
Though, bro, I didn't say not believable.
No,
100%. Funny. That shit is so.
But you know what's
like,
interesting?
Yo, they really gave him the 180, and I'm like, okay, word. Like, yeah. Carlton, you know, gotta be all upbeat. Like,
you know what's funny though? Because like I would not say it's a complete 180. It's a revision
different
of
coping
same,
mechanisms
of the same kind of nigga. Like the nigga was like a kind of a cornball, and he kind of still a cornball. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a different kind of cornball. You know what I'm saying? Like in his school, he's still that guy that like, he's just not the Carlton that we know Alfonso Ribeiro to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all smiley and all, like he's more of like a cornball that's like entitled in a non-charming way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Carlton, the old Carlton was more entitled like hey, look at what we got. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this Carlton's like, look at what we
I'm gonna stick to the 180 because still the Carlton of the old series, the confidence is a totally different thing. I never viewed that other Carlton, as corny as he was, as like unsure. He was very sure about himself. Very sure about himself. Very like.
Nah, this nigga's for sure about himself too.
Nah, he's
bro.
cap,
when it comes to like lacrosse and when it comes to like his grades and all that type of stuff.
But like again, it's kind of like it's like it's kind of like some real life shit. It's kind of like some real shit, and that's why again, kudos to the show for showing that range. This ain't a knock. This is more so talking about this character and how he's
out here doing fucking character deep.
He has to have all these type of things, and because this is literally what he's latching onto. Because without this, he literally feels himself as nothing. He's not. That is literally how we know him to feel that about himself. So all of these other things, he really needs to get celebrated, and he really wants to be appreciated for these things. They go into Will's game and shit like dog hit the buzzer beater. He hit the game. nigga, that's your cousin.
Yeah.
You're fucking weird.
Yeah, you're mad about that.
Yeah, so I stick to that 180 in that
but Carlton,
aspect.
the old Carlton did that too, bro. You remember that episode when Will hit the game winner and Carlton was mad?
100%.
And he was like, y'all never used to come to our games before Will got here.
But 100%, but guess what? It always ended on a, hey, I love you, bro. Like, because again, the premise of this show.
Yeah, because
so
the show is like
go deep.
The episode is gonna, once the episode ends, the story ends.
And to say that, it's kind of unfair to compare it sometimes because you don't, that show was not meant to.
In this joint, they come around though. They start fucking with each other, but whereas like it wasn't always like that in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But another thing another part of the storyline that I do want to touch on that's kind of interesting to me before we move on. And I feel like we're gonna have to revisit this too. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's so much more to unpack. But while we're talking about Carlton, I do think that something that's kind of weird, or just like why they do the story this way, is that Lisa dated Carlton before she dated Will. Like, it's kind of weird. It's like Will can get any girl he wants. So why is he getting his cousin's ex? Like, I don't know. That's just kind of something that I'm like, they can. Like why? I don't know. Does anybody else out there find that weird, or am I the only one that's like,
what, that Will's trying to go after the joint that he's like
this is your cousin Shorty, like
it's just
his old Shorty.
It is fucking weird, right? But ain't life be fucking weird as fuck? Nah, life be fucking weird because it's like Will's in the position like, yo, this bitch is pressed. Like, bro.
But also he was kind of,
I don't know. I didn't see all of it. I didn't see all of it. So my thing was she kind of like, yo, like,
I would say he sparked it.
Word, I didn't know that.
He sparked also like interest in her for sure.
Word, so
and then she was like open to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think starting out, she knew, like, you know what I'm saying, like, well, she was like, you know, Carlton never talked about you. I didn't know I didn't know he had a cousin, but like she knew that, like, okay, it's kind of weird that
she was tired of that.
Yeah, but also she does like him. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And then the dynamic between like Hillary and Jazz is interesting too. It's like they're actually into each other, whereas like, you know, Jazz was always pursuing her and she never gave him a chance or whatever. But nah, show overall is interesting. I feel like one of these days we'll get deeper into it. Also, like Snowfall, we got to get deeper into that. But
my guy says one of the hardest shows out, question marks. I would try. I don't think it's one. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Mecca says one of the hardest.
So you gotta really watch it before you can get
I think Snowfall.
Yeah, but you've watched every episode of Snowfall. Yeah, you gotta watch every episode of Bel Air before you can make the decision. But it's interesting because people are saying like Snowfall is not as good this season, and I'm like, I don't see it. See, Snowfall's as good as it's ever been.
I'm gonna be straight up. Like when it comes to I really don't care about people's opinions on like series and movies, especially if they don't really watch series or movies, bro. Because a lot of shit, I watch a movie and I'm like, bro, this is one of the greatest films I've ever watched. I probably recommend it to
not exciting
2% of people that I know. Because look, man, ain't no CGI. It's a lot of quiet moments. It's a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of plot development. It's a lot of It's a lot of characters. You're showing the fucking range of emotions and the spectrum of what a human can be within the characters. A lot of people don't give a fuck about that at all. They're like, bro, what the fuck did you just say? I'm like, no.
Who's the guy? Is he gonna get the girl? Like, where's the money? Like, people want to see like
100%. And me,
action.
Just off the art, like the artistry of it all, I like to see things drawn out in a way where it wasn't overdid. But I'm like, no, that needed to be done. You feel me? So like, when it comes to even with a show like Snowfall, bro, like I fuck with that shit heavy, even though, you know, should be loose, the loosely based. I just take everybody from their actors and the story that they put me in. I always like, if I could suspend where I'm at in my current moment and I buy into what the fuck you're giving me, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. I don't gotta question it too much.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, we'll be right back, man. We got Dark Matter coming on right after this.
Make sure my vocals right. Make sure the beat right. Welcome to the 5th show.
Time to cuff.
Powered by ItsNation TV.
My God, no!
ItsNation TV.
That's why I try to get in line.
Play, execute, have fun, dub.
I can do a lot more than what I think I can.
What's goody, everybody? This is Bruke Fasil, and you are now tuned into Early, the morning podcast, where we talk about a multitude of different topics, where you're bound to hear something that's of interest to you as well. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to ItsNation TV. If you're catching this on Facebook, go ahead and go ahead and comment, engage with us, and you can go ahead and follow me at Bruke Fasil, and you can follow my Brody Mac at ItsNation.com.
Y'all know I make a lot of podcasts, and every podcast needs a website. Literally, I've tried to put all of my podcasts on one website, ItsNation TV, but I've definitely gotten to a point where I've realized that in order for each podcast to grow individually on its own, each podcast needs its own website. And the easiest way to make a website for your podcast is on podpage.com. Like, literally, it's the easiest way to make a website for your podcast. Like, dog, I'll do it right now. Like, literally. All you got to do is go to podpage.com. You know what I'm saying? If you got your podcast on Apple Podcasts, you literally type the name of your podcast in. You know what I'm saying? You type in the email for your account, and boom, it literally, dog, I don't know how it does it. It's magic. It literally pulls up a bunch of different website templates from your podcast. And that's not even the crazy part. What's crazy is all of this is free. They got different tiers. They got a pro tier, they got a basic tier, then they got the free tier. You know what I'm saying? The pro tier is definitely the way to go if you're taking your podcast seriously. But like with all of the tools that podpage.com gives you, it's well worth the bread, like well worth the bread that it is. Check the link in the description to get started with podpage.com. It's literally going to be the best thing you've done for your podcast. Well, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yo, how you doing, bro?
What's good, dog?
Welcome to the show, man. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Real quick, man, give everybody a little intro of who you are, what you do.
Okay. Yo, if you don't know, now you know. It's your boy Dark Matter, because I'm dark and I know I matter. I am a rapper, producer. Just started my journey as a stand-up comic in November, which is amazing. And I love God, love philosophy, love science, astrophysics, love hip-hop, music of the African diaspora. And I just like making music and creating and expressing myself. So shout out to
off top,
all things we can get behind for sure.
Off top, I'm just curious, just a question that just came to mind. Just want to ask, what's the last book that you read?
I'm currently right now in the middle of like
okay, so you shift you be shifting, you be reading different joints.
Yeah, because it's like the audio book way be crazy, but then the book, and then I might right now I'm in the middle of
book. Get you a little paperback, you know what I'm saying?
Fact.
Right now I'm in the middle of reading this book called Homecoming.
Okay.
I forget.
Is it fictional or what's it about?
I forget the woman's name off top, but it's about coming home to yourself.
Okay.
And it's especially important for artists and creatives. Sometimes the things that we do is performative in certain ways. The way we carry relationships in our lives, really, it don't have to be romantic, just in general. And then just ourselves. Sometimes we do a lot of things because, you know, this is what our parents wanted us to do. This is what Bay wanted us to do. This is like, all right, if we want to grow this fan base, this is what we got to do. Everybody's on social media doing, hey, baby, hey, baby, hey, baby, all this stuff, right? And sometimes we like kind of lose ourselves. And then especially when you go through like hardships, trials and tribulations, it's like sometimes you might not feel comfortable in your skin. You might not feel comfortable in like who you are. You might not just be losing yourself. So it's like being able to come to home, being able to identify when you're like disconnected from yourself. You could be disconnected from your body. You go through like different emotions, struggles, changes, and as you mature and you grow, mentally you might be disconnected from like how your mind works, what thoughts are like your thoughts, or like versus like someone else's thoughts. Somebody say you can't do something, or like your mom, your mom might say this, or your dad might say that, or like your ex might have said something wild, crazy, and now you like you lost orientation spiritually, emotionally, like being able to like really come home and feel like on some Diana Ross kind of joint, like in the Wiz, where you just like home is a place like where love is overflowing, feeling abundance of loving yourself. So I'm reading reading a couple, two or three other books, and I just been reading a lot of books around, so personal development, and mostly around the personal development realm.
No, I resonate with that. I resonate a lot with that, bro, because I'm always saying with myself as well. It's like, you out here in the world and whatnot, and you applying, you trying to create and doing all that. But how often do you do those check-ins with self? And it's like we always trying to better our physical and all of that. It's like the analogy, we go to the weight room, we want to work on our muscles, do all this shit, hit the track, you want to work on your cardio, do all of that. And you thinking sleep is the rest of the mind. Like it's just going to the REM state. You dreaming. You not even recalling this. When do it really rest? Can you consciously just be like, yo, can I just tap in with myself? Can I just see what's up? You said something that's like spot on. Like your influences, your inspirations, is that you? Are you like that blueprint? Like, did you just adopt the societal blueprint and you moving like that whole time? That's not your path. You just going down because you think this is what you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes that realization be like jolting for people, but it's like how you react in that moment when you realize like, damn, like I need to make these shifts is everything. And like the fact that you just highlighted that through that book, like Homecoming, I'm definitely gonna check that shit out for sure.
Yeah. I wish I remembered the author's name off top before this.
Yeah, said we gonna tap in for sure. So just send me that.
I just got put onto it. I've been reading other books like Hurt People, because that's amazing. That's a book is huge. It has a Christian context, and like that's a profound book for me too, because hurt people, and like that's crazy. That's a whole nother podcast going into that realm.
I think I also like, just to kind of touch on what y'all was just talking about, because that also resonates with me right now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been what was it, a couple weeks ago you put me on to Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. So I've been paying attention to that book.
That's
right?
a nice little
No, it is because the thing is, like, he talks about a lot, for people who aren't familiar with who Marcus Aurelius is. He was an emperor or something like that. One of like the most powerful men on the planet in the time that he was,
Russell Crowe.
Right. So, but like he jotted down like a bunch of his thoughts, and like somebody found those thoughts and published them. And when you listen or read like the things that he was thinking about, it's like, bro, like these are things that any person would be thinking about. Like, sometimes I think we disconnect people who are super powerful or super famous or super rich or whatever as like not people, or like not like us. But when you can tap into what they're thinking in like real ways, you can kind of see like there's certain things that make us all human. And if I could point to one of those things, it's kind of this self-doubt or like self-questioning. You know what I'm saying? This self-questioning of like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Or what people say, like, does that matter? Should I ignore what people say? Like all these types of things. And to think like, oh, Marcus Aurelius was thinking about this type of shit too. There's like, I don't know if there's a level of comfort, but there's like a it's good to know that like, oh, I'm not crazy for thinking like this.
But it's more so, and to even add to that, it's like in like ego or the position that you may assume in life isn't distracting you from just like
it doesn't alleviate these things,
these questions that are still apparent. So it shows you it's like, I'm in that ideal position that people said if they were here, then everything would. And I'm telling
I wouldn't have to worry about that.
And I'm telling you, it's more. I have more questions. Nobody can actually like we can converse and we can never really get the answers, but it just helps me to be able to like transcribe these things and be able to reflect on it, right? So it always keeps you based, always keeps you centered. And I feel like that's a great way to always keep like your purpose intact. You're not going to drift away from what it is that, you know, you're supposed to be doing, whatever purpose it is that you feel you're supposed to be
like asking the question is like there shouldn't be there is no answer. Just asking the question is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
you know what came to mind? Like two things. There's one part of that book, Homecoming, in the beginning. They talk about this story where it was like this bird expert. He goes to like a farm, right? But this farmer has a farm full of chickens, and in the midst of this group of chickens is an eagle, right? And the eagle is like eating the bird seeds and stuff like that, like a chicken, right? And the bird expert is an expert enough to know that that's not a chicken, that's an eagle. So he goes to the farmer, like, yo, you got an eagle in your farm. Farmer's like, nah, I got chickens, bro. So he like, let me show you. So he goes to the farm, grabs the eagle, he picks up the eagle. It's like, yo, you like an eagle, you could fly, like you don't belong with these chickens. Like the eagle looking at the bird expert like,
what?
How soft the bird expert goes back to eating the bird seed like chicken. He's like, see, I told you, got nothing but chickens. So bird expert goes home. Next day he comes back, knocks on the door. Farmer's like, yo, I thought I told dude what time it was. Like, he's like, nah, like, yo, I'm trying to tell you, like, this is not a chicken. So he goes and then he grabs the eagle, and this time takes the eagle like on the roof of the farm or whatever, the barn, or takes the eagle somewhere high. And it's like, yo, you an eagle, and just chucks the eagle, and then the eagle just like, got the password, like, and it's just flying. And like the farmer never saw that eagle again. And it's like that type of the thing about humans is like, I think about like a bee. And you said a key thing, like part of human, what makes a human a human. You said self-doubt. Maybe not necessarily in that context, because
more like questioning, just like
self-inquiry. The self-inquiry, like
self-inquiry
by the question. That's how I interpret it. Because would a bee be like, damn, should I really be like finessing this flower up out of his collar right now? Like,
they just do it. It's part of what they do. They just do it. They don't think about it.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Does a flower be like, dang, son, you know, I didn't soak up enough like vitamins.
Me? You gonna do that to me?
Like, I need to like outperform this like other rose like in the garden, and like soak up more. You know what I'm saying? But then sometimes if you think deeper, plants communicate with each other.
100%, of course.
And I just found that out recently, and that's some like plants like this. It's like what grows on mushrooms. I forgot what it's called.
Fungus?
Yeah, not the fungus. It's like it starts with an M, but it grows on mushrooms, and like it's like how neurons are in our neural pathways, the way different parts of our body communicate with each other. Like that's how plants communicate.
Bro. It's real.
It's something like that. Yeah. And then like the smell of fresh grass, that's like grass telling other grass, like, yo, it's not safe.
Living forms have the mycelium.
Mycelium grows on mushrooms.
Yeah, mycelium. Yeah, mycelium. That's what helps plants communicate.
Yeah.
So it makes me think, like, do plants be on some like, yo, nah, we need to get it together. Like these humans, they be like, they be wilding, son. We need to like form a union. We need to like mobilize. Like they making too much paper out here. Like, do they really be like thinking about? Do plants be meditating? That's some things I be thinking about. Like,
it's what you touching on is just like, bro, just like sometimes if we just reflect upon nature, we'll see that nature doesn't even think, it just adapts. So sometimes even with ourselves, it's like we could question ourselves, we can ask all these type of questions, but sometimes it's just better to just, like that eagle, that wasn't aware that it was an eagle, you got to just jump into that unknown zone, and then boom, you got to just spread your wings and you find your way.
That's how I feel about comedy.
Amazing, yeah.
That's how I feel about comedy.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, yeah. So let's get into it. So you said you're just starting your comedy journey. You know what I'm saying? What brought you to what brought you to the comedy arena? Is it something that you've always fucked with? Is it something that you just saw and just decided to do? Like, how did you end up, you know what I'm saying, getting on stage?
So I've been rapping for like 10 years. At the start there, before even rapping, I grew up an artist, a drawer. Like, I used to draw on my parents' walls. I'm from New York City, Brooklyn, New York, Queens, Flatbush, stand up.
Hey.
And I used to draw a lot, and I used to draw on my parents' walls. Then, after my father whipped out the belt, then he got to the paper. So I started drawing stick figures. Then I started, watching Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, started emulating the cartoons. And then by the time middle school and high school came, I started learning art formally. My family invested in me to learn fine art. Then I went to high school for fine art. Then my first year of college, I studied illustration, but then that pivoted me into rapping. Then I started, that was like the home studio, dorm studio.
What time is this? What year is this?
This is like 2009, 2010.
You're in New York. You still in New York?
I was in Boston at the time. I went to school in Boston for a year, and I came back, and I just adopted that lifestyle. Wiz Khalifa was just starting to pop. Tyler, Currency, Smoke is
yeah, that's the Revolution.
You know, the Revolution would not be televised. I was a part of that movement.
The Smokers Club.
Yeah. And so people was like, yo, you dark as hell, and you be everywhere and nowhere. You be on some different type of, I'm gonna call you dark matter.
Okay.
And at first it was kind of back to the homecoming thing, but then I started being like, am I doing this for that, or I'm doing this because it's a part of something deeper? So I thought of the latter, and I started producing my own music, making my own music, and heavy in the New York scene. Once again, the Revolution, Pro Era, Joey Badass, that whole era. There's a slew of independent artists that never didn't break mainstream, that was bubbling around the same time when I was a part of that movement.
I remember that time. Yeah.
So that was a great time too. 10 years later, I grew up kind of the class clown. I've been suspended every way you could be suspended in the Department of Education in New York City. Every single way, every single way, I knocked that off my bucket list. And I was always either getting bullied or just roasting, cutting ass. It was always that time jonesing, just to the point where you have to either put up the hands or whatever. So I just grew up always being laughed at for one reason or another. Now I'm at my late 20s going into my early 30s. I always love comedy. My favorite comics is Bernie Mac, Dick Gregory.
Peace, Bernie, man.
Definitely got to shout out Corey Holcomb and Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah.
Earthquake, Chappelle.
Yes, sir.
You like real comedians.
Yeah. And Eddie Murphy, of course. And so I just was I always wanted to try it, because then it probably would have made me feel better about myself. So I wanted to get from a point of getting laughed at to getting laughed with.
Okay.
And then I just faced my fears. But it's so different compared to hip hop in so many ways. It's similar. And a lot of comedians are musically inclined, would love to rap or be musicians, and then vice versa. A lot of Eddie Murphy got a
lot of comedians making little parody songs and shit
like that. Like my girl wants to party all the time, party all the time.
Yeah, Lil Duval got a whole album coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, bro, could you talk about the different I guess what genres of comedian there are now? Because me and Mech were talking about it too. And we're I mean, now and not to say one or the other makes you a comedian or not, but it's like, you know, now with the social media, you have a lot of people that their comedy
funny.
is via
Yeah.
the IG, or it's via they're able to put this script together, and that's actually showing you another skill set of theirs to be able to present it to you, versus somebody that's literally improving maybe in real time. Like, I'm literally with people, like nobody's gonna fake a laugh for me, and I'm literally trying to get these people to laugh. Can you speak on the differences of like the creating content as a comedian versus actually performing comedy for actual live audience, and your experiences with both and how they differ?
Yeah. So far for me going into it, the writing aspect is like challenging for me. And I didn't think it was gonna be, but it is. I'm used to rapping, writing poetry, or like bars, like rap bars.
Right.
And comedic writing hits so different, because with rap is like there's an emphasis on literary devices, similes, metaphors. The punchlines are based off of like the literary devices, hyperboles.
Right.
Like, I could, I'm a hustler, baby. I sell water to a whale. That's like a hyperbole, for example.
Right.
How many likes, which we use like or as a simile and a metaphor, or perhaps different imagery. Then with comedy, there's like comedy is like a strategic surprise. It's like a misdirection. I'm going this way and then I pivot,
Word.
Like, for example, I'm pro-life, right? And if I say like that, I'll be like, I'm, ladies, don't get offended, I'm pro-life, right? They can be like, what? Like, yo, it's a great cereal. Come on, Mikey can't be the only one that likes it.
Right.
So I went from like, I'm thinking I'm talking about, women's rights with, as far as, pregnancy, pro-life or pro-choice, but I pivot to cereal,
Yeah.
So like, it's like a misdirection. And so you have the writing aspect. You have comedic writers, people who write for comics, or they write for skits or shows. Then you have people who perform, and they're like just funny naturally, like Earthquake, maybe, for example, Bernie Mac. Then you have the political commentator kind of comics, like George Carlin, Dick Gregory, Jon Stewart, right? And then you have the improv, like Wayne Brady, Drew Carey type of, Ryan Stiles type of lane. Then you got the Instagram social media aspect, where they're like, their skits are based off of things that go on in, like, for like millennials, common culture, And let's say the DC Young Flies, the Haha Davises, and
because like these niggas don't really, like, they're not stand-up comedians, but you would call them a comedian. It's like, and I honestly, I don't know, like,
but they're trained though. No, don't get it twisted. They trained. They comedians.
Well, yeah. So I guess the thing that
format,
yeah, the thing that I guess what I'm trying to find out or tease out is like what is it that they're doing? You know what I'm saying? Because like, if I look at a stand-up comedian, I know what he's doing. Like, you give him a microphone and you put him in a room full of people, and he's gonna tell you a series of stories that will make you laugh. Whereas like some of these newer comedians, and it's again, it's not a knock. I'm just trying to like understand, because like these niggas make me laugh too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, what is it that I'm laughing at? Like, what is their thing? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's more so, it's like kind of what you say.
It's like an imitation of life.
Harping on the culture.
What I see is like,
and like making you be like,
I was just about to say, what I see is like, they'll take a real life situation and reenact it in an exaggerated way. So like, you might see one of those posts that's like, when uncle comes over for Thanksgiving or some shit, and he's playing the uncle being like OD on things. You know what I'm saying? It's like a skit that's super exaggerated. I guess it's kind of like sketch comedy in a way, but it feels different on these social media platforms. It's not like a 5-minute sketch on Comedy Central. It's like a 60-second minute and a half type joint on a square screen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different skill set, but also I don't necessarily think it just translates to the other. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these dudes like can do stand up. Some of them, like I've seen Desi Banks, like he's funny on Instagram, but I've also seen some stand-up shit he's done, which he's funny, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like some other folks, you know what I'm saying, you can't. DC Young Fly too, he's funny when he is in a stand-up or podcast type of like setting in front of a live audience, he's funny still, you know what I'm saying? But some of these niggas, like you give them a microphone, put them in a crowd of people and be like, yo, like we're not gonna talk back to you, you just talk to us and make us laugh. That, you know, everybody can't just do that. That doesn't always just translate.
Yeah, I think when you're live, it's different because for that aspect, when you're on social media and you're doing a skit, first of all, it's skillful to like be able to do some type of skit like that in the time frame of a reel or Instagram story, because you have to really drive the point home. It's like it's akin to one-liners, like the quick.
Yeah.
In 2 sentences, set up, punch, right? Because you could do that. With comedy, the punchlines is like, it's similar to rap where you gotta have like a punchline every 2 to 4 bars, something like that. In comedy, you gotta have a laugh like every 10 seconds. If you got a 3-minute set, then you have somebody laughing every 10 seconds, then that's pretty much like 18 laughs, give or take. You know what I'm saying? When you're live, you have the audience that you could play off of. So you might have a bit that you're working on, and depending on the crowd's reaction, something else might pop up that you can get a laugh at. You can depending on who's in the audience, you could do crowd work, and that's a whole nother lane. Like I was on an open mic last night and somebody jones me because of my outfit. I look like a black Amish dude, but my ankles, I was wearing ankle socks, so he's like, yo, I wouldn't trust you with my kids. You out here with your ankles showing in the rain, like who does that? Like, you know what I'm saying? He just got two more funnies out of me, and he didn't even go to his bit. So you have some of that aspect. Not everybody can riff off of the crowd like that. And then the crowd control, which is similar to hip hop and MCing, which I like too, because if you could control a crowd non-verbally, that's like very skillful. Just certain body movements, like your energy, how you radiate and how that comes off in the audience. You could just be like this, and people, make some noise. Your appearance, how you approach the stage, all of that comes into play. Social media, there is an aspect to that, but Shorty could be funny in her bonnet, you know what I'm saying? But could she come out to a live comedy show in her bonnet? Maybe yes or no, maybe necessarily.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
It's it depends on the audience, and also with social media, you can like target your audience due to like the back end as far as the analytics, hashtagging, and so on and so forth. When you at a comedy show, depending on how where you're booked, who's the promoter, you'll have different types of people in the crowd, so you might have to tailor your material to the audience, whereas you would tailor the audience to your material on social media, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear that. You mentioned books. Speaking of books, you wrote a book, An Independent Artist Guide to Data and Intelligence. Tell us about that, like how that came about, why you decided to write that.
Yeah, actually, I did. It's my it's my master thesis converted into book form. So, how I ended up moving to DC is that I had an opportunity to go to grad school. at a small graduate school for national security, and that kind of exposed me to the U.S. government and how the national security like infrastructure is set up.
Right.
Moving to DC, and then being exposed to like intelligence. So I had an opportunity to go to grad school from one of my mentors, and like most people, they're like, "What is intelligence?" Like,
yeah, I'm
like,
saying, like,
do I want to be? I don't want to be an op. Like,
Right.
you know, most people when I was in grad school and they was asking me, so you wanna be a spy? You wanna like work for the FBI, CIA? And I'm just like, not really. But I I had an opportunity and I took it. And what kind of inspired me to pursue that degree was just kind of doing my research, because I felt like there wasn't a lot of diversity in that space. I was the only kid from Brooklyn in that cohort, in that program. And so I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. One of my, professors, when I first introduced myself, they were like, "So what are you doing here, Jay-Z? If you could rap, do all this stuff while you studying national security and intelligence." And so I did my research, and I found like there is a history of people of the African diaspora as it relates to national security and intelligence, and there's a history tied to us being creators and entertainers, and an intersection between all of that. For example, Harriet Tubman, she was a spy for the Union Army during the Civil War, because she understood these different routes of getting Black slaves to the North, and she had a lot of leadership skills that were very useful, and so she commanded troops. She was a spy for the Union Army during the Civil War, because she knew how to get behind. She knew how to get to the South through those secret routes from the Underground Railroad. Josephine Baker, who was like pretty much the Beyonce of the 20th century, she was a spy for the French during World War II, and because she was a world traveling performer in that age, there were Hitler, Mussolini, King Farouk of Egypt. They wanted to see her perform, and when you perform, you get the backstage passes. People want to see you backstage, so she would be able to interact with these high profile individuals and the Axis powers in World War II in ways that the Allied powers couldn't get access to them. So she would be able to kind of smuggle important documents. This is before the TSA, before having to take your shoes off and go through the metal detectors in 20th century. So she was able to bring back documents back to the French. She got a French Medal of Honor for her service. And so that kind of interested me. And the book specifically, I had got my undergrad in business. So getting my Master of Arts in Intelligence and my undergrad in business is like business intelligence. And that's a whole nother field of it in and of itself. After a while, I started to realize, being a content creator, being a rapper, producer, now a comedian, being on social media, and the internet, there's a layer of it that goes over a lot of people's heads, and it's the relationship with data, the ones and the zeros, and information. And we live in a world where the amount of data in the internet doubles every year. Like the entire information from now since caveman era, it like doubles exponentially every year. And there's like a lot of information, but most of the information is not relevant to you, not important. Is either porn or cat pics and memes, irrelevant stuff. But you need, within all of that, hey, is the needles of information that you will need to make certain decisions, like, for example, which types of audience will be interested in this podcast, which type of audience will be interested in my music as Dark Matter, which other podcasts could we partner with, which other artists or producers could collaborate. If we're scheduling a tour, how would that tour make sense for the market that we could target? Which if our target audiences are in these certain cities, which venues are near our target audience, which are the biggest venues for the type of draw that we could attract at this particular level. If we're at a level where I can sell out 100 a venue at 100 capacity, 200 capacity, 5,000 capacity, which venues within these cities could we target? Who could we speak to? Not just the receptionist, but like the actual show promoter, the CEO who owns the venues. Like, how can we really strategize those plans? How what information is relevant to my lawyer and my manager and the engineer? How could what the information that my entertainment lawyer knows be useful to the audio engineer in terms of crafting my sound, or vice versa? And so that my book goes more into that, but from the lens of what I learned in graduate school of how the government organizes national security, the different agencies, how the different agencies share information with one another. Intelligence, what is intelligence? And so intelligence is information that's value added. It's timely, meaning that it's relevant to you right now, and it's future oriented. That means that if you use the intelligence, it can impact what you want to do in the future, and it's based off of prior, so it's timely, and it gives you a decision advantage either over people that you are in the industry with, or like other artists, other podcasts, or just give you an advantage for yourself. And there's business intelligence that helps you run your business more efficiently. There's marketing intelligence that helps you interact with the market more efficiently. And then there's competitive intelligence that helps you stand out in the industry amongst competitors. Intelligence that helps you understand, okay, if I'm Coca-Cola, what is going on with Pepsi that I could use to my advantage, And so I go really into that methodology and the mindset of it. And I interviewed different rappers, producers, show promoters and curators, managers, bloggers. And I asked them questions, and the questions that I asked them, I derived from a literature review of books, journal articles in the field of intelligence, national security, the field of business, and also the field of music and entertainment. So I collected a lot of journal articles, books, data,
research,
and I used it to like create questions that the answers could help inform how to create like a methodology for artists or creators to manage their own enterprise, their own small like team. Because I realized, like, if you look at like geopolitics, right, national governments, the way they move and they make decisions, like, they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of capital, like financial capital, they have a lot of like research that they capital they could devote to research and development, and a lot of resources to make them, US competitive to like China or Russia, or like the Europe, in Britain or France, competitive with one another, how they share information, how NATO shares information within their organization. And then also you have like non-state actors, small like either non-profit organization, activist groups, terrorist organizations. Like, they're smaller, and the way that they interact with information and intelligence is different. So the smaller organizations, their advantage is that there's not a lot of red tape and bureaucracy. So if they need to make a quick decision, they can. Right. But if they make the wrong decision, it can mean the difference between life and death. Right. And that's what you see in the music industry, where you have like me competing with like a Drake or a Tyler. They got a big apparatus, they got big music labels behind them. And so that's why you see they're so efficient. But if independent artists were able to organize their business in a way where their relationship with information and intelligence made them like agile, they can make quicker decisions, take advantage of market trends, taste in consumer behaviors, newer trends. They could start trends very quick. And that's what you see it happening, where you have like someone like Wizkid bubble up. Drake is like, oh, bang, now you got songs like One Dance, you know, or certain, you know, challenges pop off, like the A Baby. That's somebody that's like at the ground level, just messing around with a dance, and it bubbles. And then now bigger apparatus take advantage of that. They wouldn't be able to come up with that. A major label's not gonna come up with some A Baby challenge.
Yeah, but we also live in a time where like people can share, like the way that we share things, it happens instantly. You know what I'm saying? So somebody can do that, share it, and people see it, and it goes to the same pool that Drake's shit goes to. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes like the internet. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like we now have the ability to kind of reach this. I mean, the internet has leveled the playing field as far as like who anybody can reach. Everybody can reach everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I definitely think there's something to be said to also, understanding the landscape of the industry you're in, and understanding, data, and how data can literally, I guess, like, not even a guess, like it'll literally benefit you and it'll behoove you in a way where it's like you can get the advantage, or you can accomplish what it is that you're setting for yourself. A lot of people, especially if you're going to talk in like creative industries, and the actual artist in itself might just be going strictly off vibes, you know what I'm saying, and just doing shit. But it's like, yo, there is so much things that you can actually reel in and use for yourself. And there's so much things that you like. It's kind of like, when you're working out and all of that, if you don't like record what it is, how can you actually gauge, am I getting better? Are the increases being made or whatnot?
Absolutely.
Same thing with the artist. It's like, if you have more of like a business mentality to it, now it's like, now you're collecting all of this information, and now, however, on whatever time frame that you're evaluating that, you know what I'm saying, like from month to month or quarter to quarter, it's like, okay, I see what I did here. I see how we allotted this year, my time, fund, whatever it is. Now we got to move on. So
they say what gets measured gets managed. You know what I'm saying? But so where can people get this book? Because like it sounds like it's got a lot of crazy information in it.
I'm publishing it on Amazon this week. That's like my goal this week is to get it on Amazon so that people can purchase.
They gotta be tuned into your socials then.
You'll glue it into my socials.
Okay, where people can follow you at on all the socials.
Yeah, my socials, you can follow me on Instagram at official_dark matter. That's official_dark matter. You can find me on streaming platforms as DKMTR. You can find me on Apple, Tidal, Spotify, Amazon Music. Type in DKMTR. I got an album that I dropped in 2018 called Living with Roaches. It's super dope. Like,
nice.
It's a double entendre.
You got any other music projects on the way? So I know you're dropping the book. Is that any new music in the cut?
Yeah, I'm working on my second album. But I'm calling it right now. The title for it is called Pandemic Memories.
Okay.
So right now I'm in like the mastering stage of it.
Nice.
The mastering stage. So I want to make it so it sounds super clean. I want to put it out this summer. Definitely my birthday is September 13th, so I'm looking at that's like the date that I would like to have it released. And then I'm working on like another album after that. I have like enough material that I made in the last 2 years for about like 2 or 3 albums. So the first one would be like pandemic memories, and is my style from a music standpoint is like like my music is like a catharsis, in a sense that like I go through things and then I just kind of like synthesize it into music, and it's anecdotal for like the time period in which the music was created. So pandemic memories is like really just a view of like the things that I was going through, what I was thinking about, the experiences that I have, and during the this pandemic era, and the hope is that my fans, new listeners, resonate with it in a way that makes them kind of go into self-inquiry about what their pandemic memories were like. Does it align and resonate in some way with the music that I'm putting out? And I hope so. So yeah, that's my next project that I'm working on.
And then also, so you're gonna also be performing comedy on April Fool's Day, right?
Yeah. I'm putting together this dope show. Shout out to my brother in like one of my partners in New York named Distinguish. He's a dope music artist and spoken word poet, and he has this brand of events called Bars in the Barbershop. You ever like had a music event, comedy event in a barbershop? Because that's a staple of hip hop. You can't really talk about hip hop without the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? So we have this dope show concept. We're bringing it to DC, the DMV area, for the first time ever. We're hosting it at D's Grooming Barber Salon. It's one of the more iconic barbershops in the DMV area, in Tacoma, DC. It's been there for decades, made it through the pandemic storm. And so we just want to celebrate that barbershop, celebrate all of the local independent comics and independent music artists, rappers in the DMV area, start a movement where we have more of these events going, not only in the DMV and New York City, but we want to bring it out to Atlanta, bring it out to various cities nationwide, even as far as Europe, see how far we can take it. And so just really excited for that. And also I just be like out here, just follow me on Instagram. I do a lot of open mics Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, Wednesdays. I'm usually out at a different venue, just perfecting my craft as a comedian right now. And my goal is to be on some Bo Burnham type of lane, Jamie Foxx type of lane,
I
where
was telling you about Bo
it's
Burnham,
the
bro.
music and the comedy in one show. One
music, comedy, bro. All you gotta do is add the acting bag,
and then add the acting bag. Yeah. That's gonna come. I feel like I'm gonna be like Samuel Jackson. The acting gonna come later on. Like
later on.
When I'm like 40, I start acting out of nowhere and just like kill it. Like
I can see that, bro. But yeah, man, appreciate you joining the show, bro.
For sure,
appreciate y'all too,
talk, man. Have a great weekend, and yeah, man. Looking forward to tapping in with you, checking that book out later this month, and yeah, man.
We gonna link up soon. We gonna turn up in the club
for sure. Yeah, last time it was a turn up for sure.
Yeah,
we gotta do that again. For y'all out there, y'all know we're in Law Society every second Friday of the month, man. So
yeah,
April we back, man. Peace. All right, bro.
Peace and love. Talk.
Oh shit. But yeah, man.
Man.
Dope interview.
Sure. Shout out Dark Man.
Yeah, shout out to Dark Matter. Make sure to tap in with him. But yeah, what we got going on this weekend, man?
More of the same for real, bro. Just tap it in, create more content. Yeah, just another day. Another
weekend. Shout out Gio. Now that it's on the top of my mind, Gio, Greg. He the comedian that we shoot a lot of shit with. His birthday is tomorrow, so birthday shout out to him.
Oh, shout out Greg for sure.
Lisa's birthday was earlier this week, I believe. So birthday shout out to her.
Shout out.
Try to think of any other birthdays I know, but we don't gotta stay there too long. But yeah, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna be back at it again
real early
next week, Friday.
Peace.
Early.